and welcome to Dice Shrapnel. My name's Jimmy. I'm going to be the regular game master for this group of miscreants. Hope you enjoy.
My name's Brett. I play Joshua Johnson. He is a 31-year-old white male who's approximately 5'10" and has a medium build with blonde hair and blue eyes. Brown hair, and blue eyes.
Hi, my name is Jake. I play the character Thomas Kahn. He's a mid-30s Vietnam vet, ham radio operator, substitute school teacher, kind of pudgy, somewhat smart, kind of geekish, nerdish, and tends to put things in his mouth a lot.
My name is Daryl. I play Ross Thibodeau. I'm 5'6", 240 pounds. I've got red shoulder-length hair with green eyes. Obviously, I'm a white guy, 26 years old, kind of tending towards the gut.
I'm Mark. I play Trevor Smith. Appear to be a middle-aged white guy, dark black hair, wears glasses, little heavy set, kind of nerdish. There you go.
My name is Danny. My character is Gwendolyn Mitchell, who also goes by Gwen. She's a fiery redhead with freckles all over her face and gray eyes. She has a similar build to myself, 5 foot, 110 pounds, and she is an author.
January 1st, 1985. The 1985 Fiesta Bowl college football game is held at Tempe, Arizona, U.S., and is won by the UCLA Bruins. January 5th, 1985. At ceremonies held in Nenana and Seward, Alaska, ownership of the Alaska Railroad is officially transferred to the United States, state of Alaska. January 7th, 1985. Film star Yul Brynner, suffering from terminal lung cancer, appears on the U.S. television program Good Morning America and vows to make a public service announcement to deter others from smoking. That brings us to today, January 8th, 1985, which is a Tuesday. When last we left the gaming session, a message had been left by the mayor of Dallas, Texas for Gwendolyn Mitchell, and we were picking up essentially the following morning with her taking that information and trying to contact others to see where to go from there. Also planned for the morning was dissection of 2 poor frogs that fell from the sky.
Now, was I back at work? I think so.
Yes, you would have been.
Yes. Yeah, 07 Tuesday I would be back.
So, yes, you're going to be at work at the time when we pick up the pace.
Okay.
Sadly.
I know, right?
All right, so
Okay.
I suppose we'll lead with you because you still didn't have the frogs. They were at Ross's place. You planned on what to do, but I don't know that you actually said that you were going to take them with you when you left.
I don't remember it. Yeah,
I think you did actually, because I knew that I would have to be at work.
and she was going to.
Yeah, she was going to assist with.
Yeah. So I do think that he took the frogs.
And I had...
Okay, we'll go with that. I'm good with that.
Because that is the logical thing.
And he was going to get a hold of me.
Since when do you guys do everything logically, though?
That was true.
Fair. And I remember he said he was going to get a hold of me when he was going to do that so I could head over there because he didn't want to tell me outright where he lived at that moment. Or his lab was.
Right. Okay. So, what are you going to lead with, Danny? Or more appropriately, Gwendolyn?
I said I was going to wake up at 6:30, because they open at 7, or was it 8? That the mayor's office open because I wanted to call him before he got into the office.
You were going to try to get hold of him before he got to the office. The office opens at, I believe I said it was going to be 8 a.m.
Okay, so then I think I was planning on trying to call him 7:15 or so that way I'd assume he would be awake an hour before he was heading to his shift.
Right. Okay, so are you calling him first or are you calling other people?
So, if I wake up at 6, I'm going to call him back. Because he hung up on me last night, and I'm like, you're the one that got
I said
us
goodbye.
pulled into this.
He said goodbye. Click.
So I'm calling him back.
Okay. So, after a short night of sleep, yep, your phone is ringing at, 6:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been up.
Yeah.
Good morning.
It's Gwen.
I figured.
I don't remember if you remember, but Mayor called last night because he realized based off of what you had said when we gave him the book with the envelope that we saw the pictures.
Right.
So he is assuming you're a Mason
Okay.
and would like our assistance and would like to meet and talk. When would work for you so I can tell the mayor?
I've got some sick days stored up at work. I could probably use one.
Okay. Is there a time frame you would prefer today that I try and ask him to schedule?
Not really.
Okay.
Anytime that works for you.
Okay, so I will call you back after I called the mayor and figured out what works for him, I guess.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yep. I'm just double checking. Scientist, did you ever give me your phone number or did you withhold that from me?
I don't think I gave it to anyone, no.
Okay.
The only one had me, it was Jake.
And he's not here.
Someone during the last gaming session had taken the time, hey, let me get everybody's
That
phone
was
number.
me.
That was you.
I don't know if I gave it, did I?
You didn't say that you didn't or that you did.
Because I didn't want to go through that whole leapfrog thing again.
Yeah, because, trying, again, like I said, you guys don't always do things that are logical.
Yes. That's
Wait,
why
what?
I was asking if he had withheld it when I had asked everyone.
I don't think that you said specifically yes or no
No,
for the...
Yeah.
And considering the temperament
I would say probably not.
Yeah.
Because I was
Given
told
how your
they shouldn't be
character
doing
was,
any of this stuff. I go, you guys should drop this.
given
yes, but you were going to contact about the
dissection,
dissection.
Yeah.
because I had an interest in that because of my, what was it, biochemistry and
Yeah.
dissection?
Not dissection. As
Genetics.
yeah, you were, since you do sci-fi as your fiction, you try to base it in as much reality as possible. So you have a
Actual hybrid
Actual-
that I could use the information from for my books.
Right.
That was an interest. Mark and I decided that he did give me.
For the sake of speed of the game. Yes.
okay. So we will continue then, I guess, with. You were going to contact the mayor first, or were you going to try and contact?
I was probably going to see when he wanted to do the dissection, so that way when I talk with the mayor, I'm aware of my time constraints.
Correct. That seems reasonable.
So, yes, I will call him now and hope that I'm not,
Going to call Trevor at about 6:40 in the morning.
and hoping he's not as cranky as this one was last night.
Okay, so phone is ringing. What is your normal morning routine? Are you normally up by?
Oh, yeah. I'm
Nice.
up early.
Okay.
Okay.
So, hey, what's up?
Hey, it's Gwen. I just was wanting to see roughly when you were thinking of doing the dissection, because I'm trying to schedule stuff according.
What time is it?
It's 6:40 something.
10 minutes?
Okay. You haven't told me where I need to meet you at, and I don't know how long of a drive that is yet.
Good point. Oh, where am I working at? If I'm government, I'm going to have to get clearance for it. And it's not going to be, oh, here, can I bring her in?
Yeah. So the question is, are you going to be doing it at a lab at the government? Where
Or
they
your
are going to
personal.
be
I would
interested?
have my own personal lab.
Yeah.
Just come on over, I'll give her my address.
Okay.
So you gave me your phone number and address. So I will write that down. At least the address for the lab.
Yes.
Okay. So I will.
Yeah. Okay.
Do I have a good idea of roughly how long that will take me to get to his lab?
His lab is roughly the same neighborhood as where Ross Thibodeau lives. It's between Dallas and
So it's
Fort
about
Worth.
30 minutes from me?
It's about 30-minute drive.
Okay, so...
I can wait a few minutes.
Okay.
You'd be
So-
going between the two. So whenever you did your walk, that was a good long walk the other day.
So then...
Not surprising.
I'm used to walking.
Yes.
Okay, so that's roughly a 30-minute drive for me. So I need to make one more call and then I'll head over. So 40 minutes or so.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, odds are good that your lab is really close to your house, if not actually attached to your house.
I was going to say probably in the basement.
Likely. So
Okay.
Crappy 8x10 shed in the backyard.
it's going to be bigger than that.
So then I hang up and now I'm going to call the mayor. Because it should be, 6:50, almost 7.
Yeah.
Which was around when I wanted to
To call him anyway.
anyways. Okay, so I hang up the mayor, hoping he's okay. No.
Phone is answered by a stiff-sounding gentleman, Mayor Taylor's residence. Who may I ask is calling?
Gwendolyn Mitchell, he asked me to call him back.
Uh,
He left a message for me last night.
hold for a moment, please.
Mhm.
You hear suddenly, yes, I need to take that immediately in the study. Very quietly making it to the phone, which was obviously a distance away when he said it. A few seconds later, that same stiff voice, if you'll hold for just one moment, I will transfer the line. Stand
Okay.
by.
Thank you.
A series of clicks later. Click, 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 click. Good morning. This is the mayor. Is this Gwendolyn Mitchell?
Yes, this is.
So, as I understand it, you got my message, obviously. Is there a time and a place that you have in mind for us to get together?
So that would depend on your availability. I do have other things I have to do this morning. I believe they will be done noon or 1.
Oh, I'm certain that we can do it. I wasn't expecting to do it during regular business hours.
Okay.
I was expecting this to be outside of the normal
Okay.
business hours.
What time frame would work for you then? Because both of us tend to do personal work that isn't restrained to time like yours is.
I'm sorry, it's awful early in the morning to talk like that. Can we keep it simple?
I don't have strict hours for my job. I'm flexible.
I see. I haven't had my coffee yet.
Yes.
Well, I was thinking perhaps we could get together for perhaps dinner. And as I recall, there was more people in the lobby, and based on what my security detail has done research-wise, we have an idea of where all of the individuals were that were in the lobby. If you might go ahead and see any of them that were available for that, go ahead and get them in touch as well. Let me know how big of a party. Just call to the office sometime this afternoon, And we'll have a reservation then. Something Italian. They have a. I try to go someplace that got a fair amount of privacy, but considering the circumstances, I'm not sure exactly how comfortable you would be with something that reserved.
So, would there be a happy middle where we're towards the back, so it's a little bit private, but people can still see us?
I'm certain that we could make some sort of arrangement. What about an Olive Garden?
That should work.
I hear tell that that's a fairly decent place to eat.
Okay.
They treat you like family, so I'm not sure if I really want to go someplace where I'm treated like family. That seems a little forward, but I'm willing to give it a try.
Okay. That sounds fine by me. I will get a hold of the others and see how many of us we can get there. And do I just tell your receptionist, or do I...
Yes, just call the receptionist. She'll be more than happy to take your information as far as the number for the party.
Okay. I will certainly do that once I can this afternoon.
All right. Well, you be safe, and we will be talking to you later.
Okay. Have a great day. And then I'll hang up.
Okay. So, where are you going from there?
Well, I said I was going to do that one phone call and then head over to his place.
So, heading over. All right. Morning commute goes a little quicker than you would expect because there's not as much traffic just yet.
Yes.
Give it 15 minutes and you'd be dealing with a lot more traffic jams on the roads. Mm-hmm. When you arrive, the exterior looks pretty simple, straightforward. It's almost bland in appearance for the house. Mm-hmm. Going up to the front porch steps, a quick knock, and it does not take long before it is answered.
Ah, welcome. Come on in.
Okay. And then, as I walk in, do you lock the door behind me, or are you not as paranoid as this?
I'm not as paranoid.
Okay.
I don't
Blasphemy. No.
think it's paranoid. I just think it's...
Okay, it was 4 locks, and I was trapped
Yeah.
with like 6 guys. I was a little concerned.
Okay, I can understand that. Still. You ain't gotta make me seem like a psycho.
I think you do a good enough job of that on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
Yes. Okay, so taking her
Take it to the basement.
basement. Is there any sort of security that you have specifically on getting to your lab?
Yes, I'll have. If I can have a keypad,
Yep.
everything's free.
Okay. A 8-digit combination later. And the door opens. Nice magnetic lock, heavy duty magnet lock. Down into the basement. The fluorescents pop on as the lab area is fully illuminated. There's a fair amount of stuff down here that appears to be regular experiments that are in process. Some things look a little out of place amongst the rest of the usual futuristic / contemporary stuff. Mm-hmm. Are old clay pots and some ingredient jars that seem to be labeled in handwritten scribe in the pots, the pottery.
Okay.
And there's several mortar and pestle that look to be fairly old,
Okay.
like 200 plus years old if you had to guess.
Cool. Okay.
Bookshelves with a bunch of old books.
Cool.
Various spans of of medical stuff. I like my antiques.
Rad setup.
All right. So, are you just leaping right into
Pretty much, yeah.
okay, leading the way over to
Where the frogs
Ed.
are. Yeah.
a table, getting out some scalpels and other items?
Okay.
Okay. In that case, go ahead and give me the. Let's see. What's going to be the most appropriate roll here?
Biochemistry, zoology.
Genetics, or genetics doesn't pertain to this. It pertains to.
I would say that the zoology is going to be the most appropriate roll here.
10.
Okay, now you made it by 2 then. Which one are you starting with?
The branded frog. The normal,
Okay.
quote unquote, normal
Okay.
frog.
So as you begin dissection on this one, the only thing that you notice that is out of the ordinary whatsoever with this frog is the brand itself. Everything else indicates that this is a full-grown male frog, adult, probably a year and a half to 2 years. The only thing that leaps out at you other than the brand is there's additional fluid that's in the lung area. Doesn't appear to be normal condensation that you would expect when you're dissecting the frog.
I want to get a sample of that, and we'll test that here in a little bit.
Okay, so taking the sample, off you go. So now we're going to need to, when we deal with the sample, that's going to be a chemistry roll.
Okay.
Wanting to go ahead and dissect the other frog,
Yeah,
or do you want to
we're-
wait until you get
While
the,
he dissects that, I could do my biochemistry or chemistry on.
so you're going to run the
I'll trust her.
have her
I'll trust her.
work with the centrifuge and the mass spectrometer in order to determine what chemical makeup
just
is.
to be efficient on time and everything, since we
I'm
both
good
have
with
that
that.
study.
Okay, so passing off the liquid here,
Okay.
get this
Just
checked.
that.
Okay, how many dice do I roll again?
3 6-siders, and you're looking at
Roll
below
low.
your chemistry.
Low.
3, 4, 5, 6.
That'll do it. Okay. Doesn't take long before the mass spectrometer comes back with results. This is a known chemical compound. It is not water. Atrazine.
Atrazine.
Yeah, atrazine. It actually registers as such on the mass spectrometer. It gives the chemical makeup, and then it shows a comparison of atrazine that is showing what the chemical makeup is.
Okay.
So you know what the chemical is that was in the lung.
Okay, and I will relay that.
Okay.
Okay.
Give me a secondary chemistry roll, and you can give me a chemistry roll as well on that once it points out exactly what it is.
Okay, chemistry. I needed to roll
8.
6.
Nice.
I made it by 1.
Okay, you both recognize atrazine as being an herbicide.
Herbicide.
Yeah, it is intended to deal with broadleaf growth, reduces that. So it has an overabundance of atrazine, much more than what you'd expect to find from runoff that a frog would, normally have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So high level of atrazine in the system.
Okay.
Hey, your character doesn't laugh, remember?
I'm not laughing in
I'm
character.
Okay, so I'm going to proceed to the other.
I'm not even here right now.
Right?
Can I tell how the brand was made in the frog? Was it like literally like a burned in brand? Was it a carved in?
Go ahead and give me a secondary roll for that as you're investigating it specifically.
10.
Okay, this looks like a legit, straight up, old school branding that was done. It was not lasered in. This was application. You can tell because of the disparity in depth on the flesh,
Okay.
and the almost immediate cauterization of the it's very consistent with an actual burn wound.
Okay. And then go
Okay,
ahead.
second roll
the next one.
for zoology for dissecting the unbranded one.
5, 6, 8.
Okay. As you are dissecting it, you find that it also has that same chemical.
Atrazine.
The liquid.
Same liquid
Same
that we're
liquid.
gonna
You're
go
probably going to be. You're expecting it's going to be the same.
Okay.
As you're dissecting it, when you get to the thorax for the throat, you determine that there's wrinkling on the exterior of it, which indicates that it has shrunk. Now, the fact that it has shrunk, it's comparable in size with the other male frog. So this was very likely originally a male frog, genetically speaking.
Okay, I see where you're going with it. Okay.
But for whatever reason, the not thorax, the larynx. Sorry, I used the wrong word. The larynx shrunk. Aside from that, obviously, it has additional sex organs. But you're reasonably certain that the primary working one was one of the peni.
Okay.
The rest of it's just extra.
Okay, is there any other abnormalities, liquids?
The only other thing that you can see is what appears to be that primary sex organ also has shrunk.
Now, I know some frogs alter sex.
That's only like a species. Vast majority of them do not hermaphrodite. That's a misconception that's been put out because of Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Yeah. There's only really one species that legitimately does that as a regular thing.
And that is obviously not this species.
No, it is not.
Could this species have evolved into that? Is that a process this species might be going through?
You would need a lot more data in order to go with that as a theory. More likely, a working theory would be that there was an issue with the chemical causing some sort of interaction with the endocrine system.
Okay.
Which there has been suggestions that there are chemicals out there that do interact with the endocrine system and can cause problems with, erectile dysfunction, things of that nature, ovum production.
Okay.
It is reasonable to assess based off of just what little information you have. If you'd had more frogs to compare, you'd probably be more certain in your assessment, but you believe that essentially this other frog, the one that wasn't branded, has been feminized.
Okay.
That would be why it developed the egg sacs, why the larynx shrunk, because frogs, as part of their mating ritual, the male frog puts out a big brrrr, and that calls the females. And the bigger that brop, the more impressive it is to the females, showing dominance.
Okay.
What's the matter, Brett?
Okay, so high counts of. I'm just going over everything we figured out. So high counts of atrazine, which is a herbicide, in their lungs, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, that was the only difference with the branded one, other than the fact it was actually branded the old-fashioned way.
Also, some of that liquid, as you're dissecting it, you do find that in its intestinal tract as well.
Was there any in the other?
Both of them have the
exact same normal spots.
Same sort of liquid, same sort of food supply in the intestinal tract.
Okay.
Okay, so it was found in their lungs and intestines.
Okay, and were you going to test the second sample of liquid to see if
Probably
it was the same?
Just to ensure.
Okay, go ahead and give me a roll.
better for accuracy. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Which
I need a 13 or
less. So, yeah, you don't have any problems with the mass spectrometer. It comes back with the exact same readings. It is atrazine.
okay.
It's in slightly higher quantities,
Higher quantity.
but not much.
Okay.
It's considering the size of the samples, the disparity is minimal.
Okay. So, high counts of the atrazine in both of them. The one that was branded the old-fashioned way, and those were the only two differences that we saw.
Was the size of the larynx, the branding, and of course, the multiple genitalia and the shrunken genitalia.
Yeah, I was going by each frog, but
Okay.
yep. So the other one that wasn't branded had smaller larynx,
Shrunken
And-
larynx.
Shrunken larynx.
shrunken larynx,
And primary shrunken genitalia. And signs of feminization. Transgenderism.
That's not quite a term yet. Back then, the closest we
I'm going
had.
to coin it right now.
Right? Transgender. It's changing. Yes. You were inspired by a transvestite that you saw once.
So with that, the shrunken larynx and the added genitalia, that's the only differences we noticed with the unbranded frog, correct?
Yes. Unbranded, yeah. The
Okay.
mutant frog, yes.
And the shrunken genitalia.
Well, I have that added in with the larynx.
Okay.
Shrunken larynx, shrunken genitalia, additional genitalia. No brand.
Right.
A little higher, higher
Higher concentration of
elevation.
atrazine.
of atrazine.
Okay.
You're wondering if maybe that's because it was absorbed better into the system, and that's why the levels were higher.
Can we test for this?
Uh,
If we're going with absorption, so it would be in
If
the
you're-
actual muscles and tissues.
Would that be
that'd
biochemistry?
be a biochem roll, so you're going to extract some blood and tissue. You want to have her work on one of the frogs while you do the other frog.
We can do that.
Okay? Give me a roll for each of you.
From my
6,
biochemistry.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got an
7.
Nice.
11 against a 13, so yeah.
Okay, so you're basically seeing what kind of a level of absorption in which frog.
I'll go with the normal frog. The regular
Okay,
one.
so then I'm doing the mutated. Okay.
Okay. So you're going through and checking for red blood count, white blood count, things of that nature. So this is going to be a process that's going to take you all morning between the two of you with everything that you've been doing. By lunchtime, you are starting to get some of the results back as far as what's going on. And it does appear that the unbranded frog has atrazine present in its blood and muscle that is not present in the branded frog.
Okay.
So the
Unbranded one
unbranded has more.
has more,
Okay.
Has basically absorbed it into its system.
whereas the other has ingested it but not necessarily absorbed it.
Okay. And at that point, it's lunchtime, so I am.
Now we're pretty well done, aren't we?
Yeah, kid, you got a
Yeah.
pretty. Yeah, there's not really much else that you could do with the frogs at this point.
Um,
If you had more frogs,
Yeah. Well, I'll just do cleanup after this. You can go.
Okay. Before I leave, I am going to ask you. Obviously, if you say no, it's fine. We are possibly meeting with the mayor tonight because of the envelope exchange that
I'm
you
going
are
to say no.
against. Okay. I just wanted to ask before I left.
Not a problem. Understand.
And then, can I borrow your phone to double check if others are going to make it before I
Yeah,
leave?
go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to,
Pull out your
Call
little
him.
black book. And
call him back because lunchtime. So I'm hoping if he did go to work, he's available. But he did say that he might use the sick day, so I wasn't sure.
okay.
So I will call him back.
Calling at home first.
Yes.
Okay. And you said you were going to use the sick day, so yeah, he's going to be home.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hello.
Okay, so Mayor's wanting to meet for dinner at Olive Garden. What time?
Well, I've been off the entire morning.
I realize this.
Was kind of expecting a phone call a bit sooner than this, but
Dissecting
fine.
the frogs. So I will.
what's going on with that?
A lot of sciencey terms that I can tell you after we figure out the Mayor thing.
I think I can keep up. If you just give me a quick rundown.
Okay, the branded one had high counts of atrazine, which is a herbicide. And it was branded the old-fashioned way. So, that's the main stuff we noticed. With the one that had mutated, the larynx and genitalia had shrunk.
Mm-hmm.
You're laughing. The larynx and genitalia had shrunk. It had female organs added to it. And then it had a higher elevation of atrazine absorbed into its blood and muscle.
So they're putting chemicals in the water that's turning the freaking frogs gay.
I guess if you want to word it like that.
Mm.
But
Okay, anyway.
those are
so
the main
we're
things we
meeting at Olive
noticed.
Garden tonight?
yes.
Okay.
Will you be available for that?
I should be.
Okay. What time so that way I can tell him? Because he just said he would get us reserved
6:30 sounds good to me.
6:30. Okay. And I am going to call the others to see if any of them would like to show because he had his guards look everyone up that was in our group.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, I'll see you at 6:30 then.
See you then.
Hey.
Okay. I'm gonna call him, but I'm going to assume that
Calling Ross.
just in case, if he's on lunch or something, because I don't remember if he works days or nights.
Let's see. He was working days. Let's see. That was the 12s, just straight. Three.
Straight 12, so it would be 7 to 7. 7 to 7 would be my work schedule,
And
Yes.
so I would still be at work.
okay. So I call and I get to voicemail then, I assume?
Yes.
An answering machine. Voicemail
Answering
hasn't-
Yeah,
machine.
hasn't
voicemail
been-
hasn't been.
Okay. So,
Hey, this is Ross. Leave a message. If I'm working, I will be back around here at 7:30. Thanks.
hi, Ross. So we have a meeting with the mayor. He apparently, due to how we left things with the envelope, he wanted to schedule a meeting. It might be scheduled at about 6:30, so I'm expecting if you do come, it would be late. So if you want to call me back when you get the chance, and I can fill you in on what happened. This is Gwen, by the way, in case I forgot to inform you.
Message off. So if you want to leave any more message, you're going to have to call back and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should have my number, so you should know now. So, I guess I will, after that, I will call the mayor's office to schedule with the secretary and tell her as of right now to expect two to the reservation.
Add
Because
2 to the reservation.
yes, because well, I probably tried calling everyone else, but theirs probably also went to
Answering machine.
answering machines. So I will have left similar messages for each of them. Don't feel like repeating.
You call when you get when you call to the government office. This is Rebecca in the mayor's office. Can I help you?
Hi, it's Gwen. Gwendolyn Mitchell. The mayor had asked me to call you about the reservations for dinner tonight and how many pluses to add to it.
I have down the mayor with a party of 10.
Okay, so it is being downsized with two bonuses put with the mayor, unless he was having guards. Others could not make it.
I was just told to have it for the possibility of 10.
Okay. Well, I guess we can leave it at that.
So you know of 2 plus yourself that should be making it tonight then? Is that what I'm to gather as far as...
Myself and one other. The others have not responded yet as to their attendance.
I see. I will pass that message on to the mayor.
Okay, thank you.
You're certainly very welcome.
Okay.
And she hangs up the phone.
Yep. Okay, so it's lunchtime. My character's probably gonna go home and fix a little lunch for her and her sister and just work on her book a little bit until either someone calls or I'm gonna call back and ask what time he had reserved the reservation at.
Mayor's office, this is Rebecca.
Hi, I just realized I forgot to ask what time the reservation for dinner was tonight.
Oh, he blocked out everything from 6 to 10, just
Okay.
in case. The mayor was able to work out something with the manager. So there's a room at the back that has the wide archway. It's usually reserved for birthday parties and such. So he's reserved a 4-hour block.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Hope you have a good time.
You too. Oh, thank you.
I understand. Have a good day. Click.
You too. Okay.
So, at approximately 1 p.m., you're out on a call.
Okay.
You're finishing up, heading back into the hospital with a patient in the back.
Okay.
When you get a CB call from dispatch.
Okay.
Dispatch Unit 12.
Unit 12, go ahead.
I'm being told that after you drop off that patient, you need to return to station.
10-4. And I will go ahead and complete and return to station.
You go take care of all the paperwork.
Yep.
Return to station. When you get to station, there are 2 guys in suits that are waiting for you.
Okay.
Run them down. Run them down.
I'm going to go ahead and back in, of course.
Right?
I'm not going to get out. I'm going to roll down my window and say, "Can I help you?"
Are you Ross Thibodeau?
Yes.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm here to advise you that you're supposed to be in attendance with the mayor tonight. We've already made arrangements with your supervisor to get you the rest of the day off. I believe 6:30 was the time that was instructed.
Are you guys with the mayor's office?
Yes.
Okay.
My name's Dalton Farr, by the way. My apologies.
My name
not to try to
is
be
Ross.
off-putting.
Yeah, I was, and I'm going to open up the door. Is my relief here?
They have somebody who's supposed to be showing up at 2. So if you have any remaining paperwork for the day, go ahead and take care of that.
Okay.
We definitely are not trying to interrupt the flow of your work too much.
Okay.
But there's a matter of urgency that you and a few members of a group that had been at the news station last night were supposed to be involved in. I didn't get a whole lot of details, just that we're supposed to make certain to get people as available as possible.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that then. Upon that, I'm going to continue with paperwork, but I do want to give her a call.
Calling Gwen.
Yes.
Stepping off to the side, are you using a payphone or are you
I'm
using one
using
of the
the
main
work
line
phone.
work phone? Okay.
I'm going to say,
Ring,
Hey.
ring.
yep.
Am I at home yet?
It was like 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
So yeah.
So yes.
Okay.
I'm going to
I
say,
answer it. Just
hey, this is Ross. I was just letting you know. 2 people from the mayor's office showed up at work and got me off for the rest of the day.
so I take it you haven't gone home to hear my message that I left for you.
No, I'm still at work waiting on my replacement.
Okay.
But they actually wrangled a replacement for me to where I could go meet with you and the mayor.
Okay, so it is at
Um,
Olive Garden at 6:30.
Oh, they already told me.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
Olive
they
Garden at
already
6
told me. That's kind of weird, but they already told me.
Yeah. It's because of how we handed off the envelope.
Okay, well, as soon as my relief gets here, I'm going to go home and get ready, and I'll meet you at the Olive Garden at 6:30.
Okay.
And I will hang out then and get all of my paperwork done.
Okay. Does not take you long, and your replacement does arrive 1:45.
Okay.
It's one of your regular guys that does off shifts.
Right.
Man, it's not very often that I get called in for overtime for somebody who isn't sick. What's going on, man?
I don't know. I think it's a union thing, so I've got to go in for a meeting.
Oh, okay.
I don't know whether I'm in trouble or what, you know.
Well, knowing you, yeah, good luck.
Right. Do appreciate it, and I'll walk out the door.
All right.
Yeah, I had to be somewhere vague, so.
Oh yeah, understand. 2:30 in the afternoon, Trevor Smith. You hear loud pounding at your door.
Oh.
Trevor. Mark.
I'm not answering. I'm in my lab, and I'm not paying any attention to the door.
Your alarm system sounds indicating that somebody has come in through the front door.
I'm gonna get my gun and address them. I'm not even gonna question. I'm just gonna shoot them.
Okay. Going upstairs and shooting.
Old move.
Yeah.
Let's see how it pays off.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, in that case, we'll go with initiative.
Well, I've set up some various home security options. Gases or something along those lines.
He did
I
ask
would
you
like to cancel
earlier.
stuff like that.
He did ask you earlier if you set up anything, and you said no.
No.
Or no, you
No.
asked about the
I
lab.
asked about the lab.
Yeah, never mind.
Or like something I can use myself.
I'm betting he would if he was that paranoid.
It's not necessarily a question of paranoia. It's a question of preparedness. For the lab area, you definitely would have something set up. So you would be waiting for them in the lab if you're going to utilize
Let's see
that.
if they try to come down the lab. I'm assuming I have like some CCTVs, so I know someone came in.
Yes, you
so.
know somebody came in, and there's an alarm that beeps down in the lab that lets you know that somebody came in upstairs. checking the CCTV, you can see that two guys in suits have just stepped into the front room. One's putting away lock-picking equipment, putting it in his pocket. The other one has his hand on a holster. And you don't have sound for it, but you do have visual. It's obvious that they're trying to make their presence known. They are obviously shouting, "Hey, hello, hello." You can read that much from their lips.
Do I have outside cameras? Can I see if they have a police vehicle that says police, or
There is
just a normal vehicle?
It's a normal vehicle, but it's it looks like what you would expect from a state issue vehicle. It's a Crown Vic.
I want to keep everything locked where I'm at and just wait them out.
Okay. They search the front room. They find some paper, and they write a note, and they leave it on the coffee table in the living room after checking the upstairs area to make certain that they can't find you anywhere. And then they make certain to lock the door and leave.
Okay. I'll make sure they're well gone, and then
They've driven off. It's been a good 15 minutes.
okay, I'll come out and see what they wrote.
Okay. Mr. Smith, your presence is requested.
What's your character's
Not
name
demanded,
again,
but requested.
Ross.
At Olive Garden tonight at 6:30 p.m. The friends that you were with last night, we have things that we need to discuss. The mayor is looking forward to meeting you.
Okay. Yes, tonight one.
Still not going. Okay. So are we going to just jump forward then to...
That's fine by me.
Yeah, let's just jump.
All right. So arriving at about quarter after 6. Olive Garden is full. There's plenty of people around. When you go in, it does have a wide arch area with a large curtain that can be drawn and is usually drawn for large parties, helps to muffle some of the noise.
I want to show up earlier, probably sitting at the bar and facing the entrance so I can tell people are coming in.
Okay. How early are you wanting to show up?
Well, it's at 6:30, right? I'll show up 5:45.
Okay.
And I'll show up on time, but I want to make sure I have my knife underneath my, shirt, or around my shirt, underneath my jacket.
Okay.
I mean, it's not anything big. It's not like a combat survival knife. It's just a longer knife,
Okay. Fair enough. So you're showing up armed. You're showing up probably with your gun in your purse.
Yeah, it's self-defense and open carry, right? Was it open carry or no?
Yeah. Constitutional carry in Texas.
Yeah. So obviously I'm keeping it in my purse because we're around the mayor.
Right. When you arrive, give me a perception roll.
Perception, the
It's
intelligence,
IQ,
right?
yeah.
6, 10, 11. Passed it with 4 points to spare.
Okay. So when you arrive, you take your seat at the bar, looking around. It does not take you long to realize that you are not the only one who arrived early. Obviously, 2 members of a security detail were here in advance. It seems as though the room has actually been reserved from 4 p.m. on.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm going to wait at the bar until some more people I know show up so I don't disappear in a black bag.
Just gonna wait right here.
What are you trying to say?
Okay.
I thought we were brown bagging.
Right. About a quarter after then, the 2 of you show up.
Okay.
When you arrive, you immediately see him sitting at the bar.
Hostess.
Hostess, that's where, looking for something a little bit more elaborate, but yeah, a hostess. Do you have a reservation, or how many do we have for the night?
We're supposed to have a reservation with the mayor, I believe, in the back.
Ah, yes. Okay.
And I will flag that I want a beer, so.
Okay. We can certainly get that taken care of.
Okay.
Are you wanting to drink that at the bar first, or are you just going to go?
I'm good with meeting in there.
Okay. Well, if you follow me, walks back. Was there anybody else in the party besides the three of you?
Don't
As
think
of right
so.
now, no.
Okay. Heading back to the back. The mayor is already seated. He's working on some files out of his briefcase. When he sees you, he, oh, wonderful. Scoops everything up, pats it down, throws it in the briefcase, shuts it, and makes certain to change the tumblers on the locks, and sets it down beside him. Please, have a seat. The hostess makes certain to provide menus to each of you and says she'll be back in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. We will go over some rules for that in a minute. Okay.
I'm just going to sit down, accept the menu, and look it over.
Okay. Well, it's definitely good to make your acquaintance a little bit more. Hopefully we can have a nice little chat, get to know each other a little bit better, and we can discuss things that we'd rather not discuss.
Right. I can agree with that, and I'll look over at you and the rest of my group.
Yeah.
After the orders are taken. So, we've got probably about 15 to 20 minutes before they bring the food back, other than getting the salads. So, tell me a little bit about yourselves, so I know, what exactly we are working with here. Let me start with you, sir. Could I get your name again?
It appears you already know my name. Is that too far to say?
No, I prefer the personal touch. Research is entirely different from introduction.
My name is Joshua Johnson. I'm curious to what your file says about me.
Well, it says that you're a fairly intelligent individual who works for NASA. I do love people with government jobs.
Amen.
Beyond that, it doesn't have a whole lot. Age, driver's license. No criminal history to speak of. I'm curious. How old's your grandmother?
My grandma, should she have still been alive, would have been 83 today.
That's not the answer I was hoping for. Well, thank you very much for that, at least. And Miss Mitchell, just a touch about yourself.
Well, you already know my name. I gifted you my second book in my series that I write. I'm an independent worker.
Self-employed.
Yes.
A self-made woman.
I am also curious a little bit about what you have on file about me.
Well, see that you came up in the system, as it were. It appears that your parents had either gone missing or are deceased. It's not very clear as far as which that is. There's some things that are redacted.
I've noticed that too in my research.
Perhaps that's something that we can work on together if things go to an end that we can both appreciate. I like to be able to help my friends when I can. And you, sir?
Yeah.
Mr. Thibodeau, was it?
Yeah, Ross Thibodeau.
Ross. May I call you Ross?
Please.
And may I use first names for all of you?
Yes.
I appreciate it. Certainly, please call me Austin. Ross, a little bit about yourself.
I am a paramedic with the Grapevine. What can I say that you don't already know?
There's plenty. That most
Right.
government files don't have a whole lot about personality.
Right.
Not much of a criminal history to speak of. Same
No.
for all of you. I like that. At most, some parking fines, and most of that I think is work related.
Probably, and I'll kind of chuckle about that.
Honestly, people who've lived in Dallas and Fort Worth area for more than 20 years, someone's going to have some sort of a parking fine, double
Yeah.
parked or something. Well, there's never enough parking space.
Exactly. And ambulances don't normally care, you know?
This is true and understandable. I appreciate the service you provide to the city.
Do appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, oh, the food has arrived. I'll hold for just a moment as we receive our trays, our plates. And certainly, remember everyone, everything tonight is on me. Feel free to eat or drink whatever you care for.
Shoot, I'm gonna look over at you. Shoot, if I drank everything, I would be a drunk driver. And kind of laugh about that.
If that's the case, I might be a DD, designated driver today.
No, I'm not definitely going to drink like that. I will have my beer and be good. Or I will have my beer and be me.
Yeah, you call it good. Mark, you might want to look through that section.
Safe to say the food's been divvied out.
Yes, and the wait staff have all departed.
Well, Mayor, you've heard a little bit about all of us. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
I come from a family of a little bit of wealth. We have a fair amount of farmland, made use of a lot of cotton growth as a foundation for our wealth.
Here in the area, or are you a traveling man?
I'm most certainly a traveling man, but the land in question is off to the east primarily. The cotton, well, that with the rest of the family wealth has allowed me for my re-election this last year to outspend my opponent by 10 times.
Money does win elections.
At times it does. I'd like to say that the service that I had prior also had a little something to do with it. But I wanted to make certain that the city was as well represented as possible, and I do my best to do that. Now, something that you probably don't already know is there have been 2 prior attempts at blackmailing me, both based off of my son.
Were they similar circumstances?
Yes and no. You see, my son has been kind of fashioning himself as a playboy. Austin III, well, he's gotten 2 young women pregnant. And those women are well taken care of, but they don't live here anymore. And we have non-disclosure agreements that have been signed.
Naturally.
So the fact of the matter is the photos that were provided seem to be something that would make me believe someone either doctored some photos somehow, or there was something else that was done to put him in that sort of position.
Right. You do, I'm going to call you Austin, I guess, because you
Please.
said you do realize that we are not a party to anything blackmailing you.
Yes, I gathered as much. The expedience with which Mr. Johnson there was trying to get things done, and the nervousness of Miss Mitchell seems to point to people who are not professional at this, nor interested in really having much to do with it. I really appreciate the fact that you want nothing to do with it, because that means that I can pay you, and then when you're done, you're definitely done with it. That would make sense, would it not?
That would make
Yes.
great sense.
And, I hate for somebody to be put in a bad situation over something that is quite obviously a lie or a misinterpretation of the truth. Now, you didn't answer with something that I was hoping for, which indicates that you aren't a traveling man. See, when I ask how old your grandmother is, I'm asking something else, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were getting to know each other. What I meant was, I'd like to use this to answer the question correctly.
Goal of the auto success.
Okay. When a Mason is asking you how old your grandmother is, he's asking what lodge number you belong to.
Oh.
So you would be able to. So an appropriate answer would be something along the lines of, "I don't actually belong to a lodge." So you're giving him the knowledge that yes, I do have knowledge of what this means.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually belong to one. Or you can lie. However, there's a chance that he's going to be able to tell whether or not you're lying about that.
More than likely, he will.
Yeah.
So, how are you going to answer with the knowledge that he was asking what lodge number you belong to?
I'll just say that I don't belong to a lodge.
Does that mean then that you were a lodge member and have left, or have you never been a Mason?
I just haven't been that involved with the organization in recent years.
So you were one at one time? You seem rather non-committal.
My work's taken up a lot more of my life than what I would have liked to in recent years. But a man such as yourself would put me in a great position to re-enter the organization.
I see. So, affiliation with the lodge is something that you would
Be interested.
in. That's fabulous. Would you have any interest?
I would. My father was a 35th degree,
Ah, Scottish Rite.
and I just never did, anything with it.
I see. Well,
He was actually buried in his robes.
I see. Well, being that you weren't a Mason, and that you aren't, the note that was with it, did you happen to notice it?
I did.
Do you have the cipher?
Do we?
Does,
Yeah, I really don't.
does she
remember.
notice
Out
my
of
face
character, I
at
really
all,
don't
or
remember.
no?
More specifically, I suppose, to the point is, do you know what it said?
I do remember what it said.
Okay.
I have it written right here.
You're the best. Thanks.
There are notes! There are notes!
Here's,
Even
But I don't need you to quote it verbatim, sir. I just need to know that you know that there's an attempt at blackmailing me.
yes.
And
It was originally in French.
it was, yes. So which one of you speaks French?
I had a French book handy.
Interesting. Well, I do enjoy somebody who's prepared. The Boy Scout in me definitely appreciates that. I never was one, but I like the motto.
Right.
Always be prepared. Well, if you know that there's going to be something broadcast, do you know anyone who has equipment that
Yes.
awesome. That's fabulous. Would that be the gentleman who was kind of scraggly looking and on the heavy set side?
Or yeah,
The teacher.
yeah.
Yes.
I thought as much. I recall seeing in his file that he had a license for such. And that friend of his that he, my security detail ended up following him as he was dropping off the other gentleman. We don't have a whole heck of a lot on him. Mr. Smith?
Is that Trevor?
Yeah.
He's a very secluded man. He didn't want much involvement in this outside of the science.
Outside of the science? What science is involved in dealing with the blackmail?
She's a science fiction writer, so
Yeah.
she means that that's how she's connected with him.
Oh, so he didn't know what was going on?
Correct.
He didn't care for
What was
knowing
going on?
what was going on.
I see.
As soon as he saw that it was for the mayor, he's like, I'm out.
I see. Well, I can understand and appreciate that. Well, you can certainly let him know that anything science related in this, so long as he provides discretion, the like will be provided. I have no interest in causing anybody harm, especially somebody who lives in this fair city. We try to do as much as possible to help everyone in the community. Now, my expectation is that this is going to be based off of the upcoming vote over the zoning.
Your receptionist mentioned that when I waited in the room for a while.
So there are several different religious factors that are interested in making certain that it is not zoned for business use. So, well, we have a company that's out of state, comes from Silicon Valley. They're interested in trying to set up bathhouses. And with the AIDS epidemic going on as it is, people are scared, and rightfully so. You know, you don't know whether you can shake hands with somebody without coming back with something nasty. And the number of people in the area that are part of the homosexual community, I had no idea that we had so many in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
You'd think that in a city like this it would tend to drive out degenerates, but
That's generally stuff for Austin, you know? I mean,
absolutely.
don't Austin the rest of the state. It just, I find it distasteful.
Absolutely.
But whether it's of interest to the person or not, it is a free country. Do what you will, just don't involve me in it.
I'm inclined to agree.
And that includes not trying to make my son look like he's involved in it when I know for a certainty he would have no reason to be. That boy was a horn dog from get-go. I don't know how many girlfriends he's had over the years, and not a single one of them has complained about anything other than child support.
Okay.
So, if we're able to get someone available to listen in to that station broadcast, whatever the hertz was, I don't recall, it would be an important part. Now, my other question would be, this friend of yours, do you happen to know if he has any means of tracking the source for the broadcast?
Tracking the source, that is a good question. I'm not aware if he has something like that. He was planning, if we were to listen to it, record it, so that way we'd be able to, if needed, replay it for someone, such as yourself.
I see. Being able to track it to to its source seems like a fairly important thing right off the bat, because if we can do that, then we have a reasonable way of finding who is actually trying to leverage things one way or the other. I don't know which side they're trying to leverage for, whether it's be to keep the bathhouses out or bring the bathhouses in. And until we know that, I have a whole lot less to go on. So honestly, we're kind of waiting to see what goes on with the recording that you guys are going to be able to provide. That broadcast is where we need to focus and identifying where it starts. So if there's any way that you could check with him, I'm sad to see that he wasn't able to make it tonight. We were doing our utmost to make certain that he was contacted at the school today, but he ended up calling in sick and he did not answer his door at home.
Okay.
Do you have a personal number we can reach you at, or maybe an office extension, so we don't have to?
I
Play the
believe he
waiting
has
game.
given me his personal.
You have the home phone number. As far as a direct line at work, if you call in and you speak with Rebecca, I can make certain that if you give the phrase, why don't we go with something simple? Have you seen the dog with the blue collar? That'll get straight to me.
That sounds great.
If you get a hold of him and see whether or not he has the availability to triangulate, or if he needs additional equipment in order to achieve that,
Okay.
I would be more than happy to provide additional equipment. I just need to know what, and we're working with a short time frame now. It's the transmission is supposed to be tomorrow night.
I will see if I can get a hold of him tonight, and then I can forward on to you the information as to whether or not he has that equipment, hopefully before the end of the night, so that way.
Yes, if we could hear something before 10 p.m., that would be lovely. And yes, if you do call me at home, unless you have something that is an immediate concern, try to call before 10 p.m.
Okay.
I don't want to have to worry about my wife being woken up for anything, especially this foolishness.
Yeah. And was the time I called you this morning too early?
Just a little bit before breakfast is when you got me.
Okay.
Normally around 7 o'clock is when we have breakfast.
Okay.
So
I wanted to make sure
it was right before breakfast was being served, so it's reasonable.
Okay.
Nothing before 6:30,
Okay.
unless of course it is an emergency.
Since I was aware that you would more than likely be in your office at 8, I figured close to 7 would be around when you would wake up.
That would make sense. That's reasonable. 6:30 is typically when we try to get up and get moving. The wife has started to try this new thing she has found, Tai Chi, I think is what they call it. Some sort of exercise from the Orient. If it makes her happy, it makes her happy.
Several girls from the office have been doing the same thing.
Oh, yes? Yes. I think I blame it on that movie last year, The Karate Kid.
Right.
But if it makes her happy, it makes her happy.
Indeed.
That is generally what we aim for. Happiness. Well, I do appreciate your time this evening, and again, I appreciate your discretion. If there's anything that I can do for you, certainly let me know. Because, well, obviously at this point, to some degree, I expect that we can consider ourselves employer and employees. I'm looking for your assistance in determining who is trying to blackmail me. And since you have an obvious interest in doing so, whether you're being paid for it or not, I figure we may as well put some monetary adjustments in a positive light towards you. Again, paying for that discretion. it will not be a small investment in you.
Could we instead ask for a favor?
What favor would that be?
Would depend on what the situation is.
An undeclared? I know that those can be a little bit on the tricky side. We can have that debate later. In the meantime, we'll look at possibly getting the two of you initiated. I'm sorry, but we don't...
Then only I am aware.
Indeed. And we can certainly look at what other options are available, what other needs are out there, and see what I can and cannot do. I don't want to promise to do something that is going to put me at risk or be beyond my means.
Indeed. I just live a comfortable life, and I don't take much value in currency these days.
I see.
I, on the other hand, take more value in currency.
I see.
Because I am not
A man of means.
a man
as I
of
see.
means, yes.
Yes. Well, is there anything that you have as questions before we adjourn for the night?
I don't think so.
No, sir.
Miss? Huh?
None I can think of.
Here's my business card before we leave.
Ah, fabulous. Takes it.
I don't have a business card. I work for you.
Well,
a roundabout.
indirectly.
Yeah, a roundabout.
Well, and you already have my personal number since you called it.
Indeed. You know, the public directory service is a wonderful thing.
Right?
If there's nothing else, then I suppose I will bid you all a fond good evening, and I look forward to hearing back from you after you've got more information for me on who's trying to blackmail me.
Rest assured you'll hear from us.
It is appreciated. He gets up, grabs his briefcase, and that's when you see 4 armed guards come from side doors in to escort him out.
Okay.
So you've had this entire area for just the 4 of you for the last hour and a half.
I'm going to look over at him and him and her, and I'm going to go, what do you guys make of this shit?
I think that went a lot better than I was
Yes.
thinking it would.
Well,
I was concerned that of more problems.
Me as
it
well.
seems like we've got an employer other than our normal jobs.
Which that will help myself, and it will
I think money's a short-sighted goal in this. I
Oh.
think
Right.
the benefits of having a mayor in your back pocket is going to come in
Yes.
much more handily than...
I do not argue this, but my income fluctuates. So
My
having
income doesn't
more
fluctuate, you know.
So having a little bit more steady income will help me to
I'm
have
not
the
saying that the
funds.
cash is a bad thing. I'm saying don't let it get the better of you.
Right,
Yes.
right. No, I understand that.
I mean,
I
if
see
you
enough of that.
if you decided to have your things be him owing you, and the rest of us receive income, I don't think any of us would complain.
Fair.
You know, that's just fair enough. I mean,
Yeah, I can't argue that.
Okay, we'll cut from here over to...
The scientist.
So, Mark, what have you been working on here that is and is not public knowledge? Also, it's not going to be public knowledge.
Giving real serious thought to just packing up and leaving again. There's a new life elsewhere. I don't like people coming to my house, especially breaking into my house. So I'm looking at moving.
Okay. As in moving entirely out of state, or are we talking about just moving in town?
Out of state. People are getting close. I don't like that. People are breaking into my house. I really don't like that. I don't know who they are. There's stupid shit going on with this mayor guy. That.
Okay. Are you looking at replacing your character?
Altering my character. I have to explain outside.
Okay. Okay. We'll follow up with that here in a little bit then. All right. So, are we then jumping back over to them?
Jump back over there.
All right. So, where are you going from here?
I'm going to go back to my house.
This is a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to my house.
Okay. Well, you'd already made plans to meet up Wednesday.
Yes.
So,
Because Wednesday's when the cipher's happening.
Yes.
That's correct.
yeah, Wednesday's when the broadcast is going to hit.
Wednesday at 2200 hour. Which we
Okay,
were
so
going to
I
meet at
will
2100 at least.
So I will be off.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And you were planning on being with them with the broadcast.
Yes.
I will say that once my character gets home, once Gwen gets home, she will call up Jake and see if she can get a hold of him to ask if he has the equipment so she can ask the mayor or inform the mayor, yes, we have it, or no, we could use some.
Okay. So, going to try to contact Thomas, see why he wasn't able to be reached,
Right.
and see if he has sufficient equipment to triangulate or if he needs additional equipment.
Yes.
And if he needs additional equipment, does he also need additional personnel?
And I'm going to immediately go to work. The next 7 o'clock shift.
Right. Okay. Well, that being said, I suppose we'll go ahead and finish off with what people have learned for the night. All right. So, what did you learn tonight?
That I need to be more perceptive whenever I hear Masons asking off-the-wall questions, like questions that aren't, I don't know, natural, like kind of more with the flow of the conversation. Because as soon as you said that, I was like, oh my god, so stupid. So there's that. I also think that having the mayor will benefit the group. Whether that's like having his resources to help find out like more things about the frogs or something like that. I just think he'll come in handy.
Okay. Go ahead and go through experience. Gwen?
So, outside of game, I learned it's really important to make sure I have detailed notes.
It's always a good idea to have notes.
Because we were having a lot of scientific terms and a lot of codes and phrases that we need to remember, and also who has whose phone number.
Yeah. These are important things to know.
And then in game, I learned that my character needs to start hiding her nerves a little bit, kind of hiding her expressions, because she lets some good chunks show.
Yes, she does.
And then learned that when in the lab, he's not horrible to be around because we get stuff done and everything.
He was focused on a task, and it was a task that he enjoyed. Yeah. Who can't have fun cutting up frogs?
Yep.
And the fact that you were willing to do it and knew what you were doing when it came to the equipment, that would go a long way with him, I would imagine.
Yes. So, I think those are the key things that my character learned.
Okay, so getting along better with Trevor, focusing less on, or more on, not letting your expression show. Yeah, that seems reasonable. All right, go with the experience. And Ross Thibodeau / Daryl, what'd you learn?
I'm with him on some of the, intricacies of the Freemason speech, They're a little bit more intricate than what I would think of, just regular. And with her, I've got to say notes, because, they both brought up some good, some good ideas. I was, like I say, floored with him because I know that I wasn't the only one that was swimming, with the intricacies of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it always comes down to notes, in my opinion. So that's what I learned.
Which is funny because I never see you take them.
I do.
You just don't bring them.
No. I do take notes. It's kind of funny for a stroke victim to say I take mental notes, but I do take mental notes. For a stroke patient, I've got a hell of a memory. But I do take a lot more mental notes than I do physical notes.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll go with to experience. And Mark, what did you and or Trevor learn tonight?
Learned about the frogs. The brand is normal old school branding, nothing laser, nothing fancy, for protection. Going at assumptions, it protected it from absorbing the chemical. Just figure out where this chemical. I mean, it's common. It's not a.
Yeah, it's a fairly
It's not like
common thing.
it's going to be hard to pinpoint any specific spot it would be used at.
Yeah, atrazine's been in use since the 60s.
Yeah, so that kind of related on that aspect. Like I said, I'll have to look into research, see what any other weird side effects, if that's a side effect of atrazine or not.
Okay.
I've noticed that. Do you want to say I'm going to still coin the phrase transgender?
Transgender. That
That is my phrase.
Trevor Smith, in 1985, identified transgendering frogs. That makes sense.
Works for me.
Yeah, because prior to that, the term was just sex change. There was no transitionary description. It was you began a hormone therapy, and then you went to Sweden.
You changed. And then, super don't trust the mayor now. And he might need to be taken care of.
Oh,
He's getting close.
no.
Okay. All right. To experience. This has been Dice Shrapnel. If you enjoyed this content, please consider hitting the like, share, or subscribe buttons.